I'm reading a piece that is inspired by my love of hot dogs, and it's a true story, all of it, and that's kind of unfortunate, but you'll find it out. And it's called Grey's Anatomy. I crave hot dogs the way crackheads crave rock. My preferred dealer is the Grace Papaya at West 72nd Street, Broadway. Last April, I decided to give in to the hankering before a hair appointment. After injecting 2 hot dogs, well done, no kraut, no onions, I exited Gray's wearing the afterglow of gastronomic pleasure. At the corner, I noticed an older white man noticing me. His 1980s navy blue members only jacket was retiree. His close-cropped gray hair read conservative. He smiled warmly, then said, "They make great hot dogs, right?" I hadn't seen him inside, but making the acquaintance of a fellow hot dog connoisseur was always welcome. "They sure do," I said, beaming. "I miss them. They don't have them in Florida, and I always go to Gray's when I come north for a visit," he said. The walk signal turned green. I crossed the north side of the 72nd Street, where the hair salon sits in the middle of a block of commercial stores. The elderly man followed. I let him. With all my family back in Michigan, I miss chatting with older relatives. "I love hot dogs," I said, as we moved east past the Capital One Bank branch. I once grilled some using the headlights of my car after arriving in the Hamptons after dark. I couldn't wait until the morning. I puffed my chest out, half expecting the old guy to pin a medal on me. He let out a grandfatherly chuckle, the type doled out when a child surprised him with an art class ashtray coated in bright tempera paint. By the time we walked past the Buttercup Bakery, I learned he retired to Florida after running a printing business in Lower Manhattan. "I go back and forth changing up the seasons," he said. As the rose glow of the evening sun spilled across the pet store windows, the sidewalk, and us, I imagined we were a multi-culti postcard of connection. Black and white, young and old, I smiled. Pleased that my Midwestern love of spontaneous chatter still held even after 20 years of living in Manhattan. At the entrance of the salon, I slipped my elderly friend one last smile and said, "Well, this is my stop. Great talking to you." He returned the smile and then said, "I'm staying at the Pierre Hotel. My room number is 236. I began to strategize how to get out of an early bird dinner special. I knew the invite was coming. When he said, "I'll give you $200 if you let me go down on you." 10 years ago, I withered a flasher's kielbasa-sized hard-on by pointing out how pathetic he was with his member out at the 14th Street F station, mid-afternoon. I don't shock easily. But in that moment, lulled into an illusion of innocent connection, doped up on sodium-laced meats, my head snapped back from shock like a spring-loaded bobblehead. Grandpa was offering up some tongue action with a monetary bonus. Isn't that how Nelson Rockefeller died? Playing hide the salami with some young girl? Grandpa, you have to be fucking kidding me, I said in my head. But instead, "You know, there are women who do that sort of thing for a living," came out of my mouth. The old man's face remained smooth as silk. Either he regularly played this game, or Viagra gives men a stronger backbone to man. "Well, if you change your mind, you know where to find me. Have a good night," he said and was gone. I entered the salon and tumbled into the stylist's chair, stiff from shock. Severia looked at me with worried eyes and asked, "What's the matter?" "The female handbook mandates, when a person who cares for the outside of your head asks about the inside, you must answer truthfully." So I did. and she snorted and hooted over the thunder of blow dryers and the buzz of patron gossip, repeating, "He said what?" over and over. Then her mouth fell open and stayed open, sliding slowly into a serious smirk. That old man knew you weren't a pro. That's why he wanted you. Cool leather jacket and boots, you still got it. Sex therapists say the stranger hookup is the #1 fantasy of women. Sure, I've had one, but mine frequently involved Clive Owen, cashmere blindfold, police-grade handcuffs, a case of Paul Rosé champagne, and a midget. The sexagenarian hookup? No thanks. At 18, my first old geezer nude model at Parsons figure drawing class, complete with springy snow white pubic hair and man boobs that dipped to his lap, and he caused sour vomit to crawl up my throat. Yet, months later, I can't evict the ancient Marquis de Sade from my mind. Sure, Hugh Hefner and Larry King get plenty of action, but had I missed something during our chat? Was some of that hot dog talk really code for something else? My friend Tina agreed. Sounds like that old man wanted to show you a whole nother hot dog, she said, and snickered into her glass of Pinot Noir. After another sip, she added, I bet if he looked like Javier Van Dam, he would have taken him up on it. I doubt it. I lacked the sense of adventure. Sure, a hunk with a talent and tongue is not easy to find, but maybe what's even more difficult to find is a moment of real connection, like I've always found with my favorite hot dog. Thank you.